Okay, so we've just come across to the outer islands of Trondra, Bridgend, Hamnavo and Papel. And we've got a couple of deliveries out this way before we start heading back across to the mainland again. The mainland is out on the left hand side, about 500 metres, 600 metres away. And we're going to go across another little bridge to join up with Hamnavo. And as we come out of Hamnavo, we'll be on single tracks heading to our destination, which is in Bridgend. It's a shame that it's really such a dull day today. The sun came out over lunchtime, would you believe? So a lot of the revenue as well is generated through fishing from mussels and from salmon. There's not a lot of wild salmon, a lot of it's mostly farm salmon and things like that. Still bloody tasty, by the way. But that's just the nature of island life. And it's rare that we'll go a whole week without somebody somewhere offering you a bag of fish for the fridge or the freezer. We're going to be going back onto single track roads.
Turn left on road.
So as we come around the corner,
1.4 miles, then turn left on road.
As we come around the corner, there's the Atlantic. And there's some stunning beaches over this way. So it's all sort of rural and croft and Shetland style buildings with the paint for these things are oil based things, and they cost a fortune for the paint because they have to put up with such harsh weathers over winter and that. So the little strings that you see in front of you are the mussel strings, where they grow the blue shell mussels, which are delicious with a bit of garlic butter. miles while we deal with the customer.
In 0.1 mile.
So we're going to head back towards Hamnavoe. Why have you done that, mate? You can see there's a double lane there. Yeah. And you stalled it. Well done. Other than that, that was a perfect manoeuvre, young lady. Sometimes their kindness gets the better of them, really. Unfortunately, when they're just driving on islands, so they don't have any real road experience as such. So I don't know what I'm going to do with my retirement, to be honest. I've got a little 0 hours job at the airport, which I can just fulfil whenever I want to. So there's no obligation on my part, which I'll be quite happy to do. I guess I'll be watching a bit of Loose Women, although that turns out not to be what I thought it was. Big disappointment that was. So for those of you unfamiliar with single track driving, there's numerous passing places. So the idea is that you sort of you merge and meet at the same sort of point in time, really, if you can. So you don't have to slow down and they don't have to stop. Tradition on the islands of people not taking tests and stuff like that, so it goes back to when vehicles first arrived here and women would drive motorbikes and tractors and all sorts of lorries and things like that as well, and it seems to have been passed on generational. So we're on the outskirts of a little place called Hamnavoe, which is a stunningly beautiful little village. I'm going to sort out the music after this. The temptation is to give the van and Lightfoot a real hard time, but what would be the point? The only satisfaction anybody would get would be from just blighting your record, really. You know, don't want to be doing that. Not on my last day. Right, so we're going to go back into pause mode again. So we're going to do a quick twirl of Hamnavoe. So you can see just how bonny it is. And just as we come up to the end of the road, just off to the right hand side, you'll see a wee bucky house. I'll just try and open it up so you can see. A little house made of shells, look. How pretty is that? So we're just going to do a quick loop. So off in the distance is the island of Fuller and the Hamnavoe Lighthouse and the wee harbour. Weird names and places. So it'll be a few years before I come back out here, if ever I come back out here again. Right, so off we go. Right, so we're going to be heading north now. One of the anomalies of doing this run is that we have to go up the North Road today as well. Probably won't be able to see it. You might be able to see it. Just over on the left hand side is the new fish market, which was opened by Prince Charles the other day. So we're going to be heading exactly this way, directly north for the next few miles. So about half a mile up on the right hand side are typical council places. So if you're a council tenant, this is what the houses look like in Shetland. Again, very Nordic style. And the harbour's just off on the left. So the red and the green and the blue ones, the white and all that, these are all council places. Depending on the size of your family. Yeah, just as I'm driving along these roads, I'm beginning to realise that I'll probably never drive down them again, because there's no reason for me to come this way ever again now. it's all becoming a bit real, a bit bizarre as well, because I've been driving these roads for so long now. Yeah. These also, we've just gone past the fire station. These little towns and villages don't have permanent fire personnel. They're all volunteers, and obviously any time they get a shout, they all have to jump into their cars, make it to the fire station, and then go and put out the fire, or rescue somebody from a vehicle, wherever it might be. Some of the natives. So we're going along what's called the Tynwald Valley. And there's two golf clubs within a couple of miles of one another. This one's a little 9-hole one along here, and then the one further up at the end of the valley is an 18. So you play your golf right beside the lock. Someone's out doing a bit of fly fishing. Make sure you don't get hit on the head by a golf ball down there, mate, eh? Been a lot easier if you just, this is the trouble with tourists. If they just pulled in to where there isn't a left and a right with single track. If they just pulled in, then that guy could have just driven straight past, and we could have kept on moving. So that's the clubhouse, believe it or not, that little building there, and it's just somewhere where people will go, not only just to play golf, but to have a beer and play music and things like that. And there's the 9th. That was the 8th. It's the 8th. The 9th must be on the way back then. Right, so I'm going to switch you on to pause. Right, so this next delivery is on what they call in Scotland a scheme. It's a housing association or council place. So this is again what council houses look like in Shetland. Because of the amount of money that's available to the local authority from the gas and the oil industry, they build fantastic places and cheap rents. I think it's 300 and even 360, something like that, for a 2-bed. So all of these places here, these are all council. Last time I was here, the lady had COVID, unfortunately, and I mean really badly. So right, so I'm going to put you on to pause and then go to the address. So we're going to head back into town on the rather imaginatively known North Road, which leads south to north or north to south. Off on the left hand side is Britain's most northerly golf club, and the golf course, 18 holes. You're going to go down one side of it and up the other, so you might get a better look on the way up. Just going to go past the clubhouse in a minute. So we're going to head into town through the north end, and where the harbour is and where the ferry port is. Give you a little glimpse of central Lerwick. We have one street in Lerwick. Again, they really pushed the boat out and they called it the street. So the golf club is now on our left, or rather the golf course is on our left. I'm just going to pause you because it's a long, slow haul back into town. So the outskirts of Lerwick from the north end, directly ahead of us is Shetland Catch. All the fish landings are brought in, and then the wee harbour, and then the big harbour, Muckle Harbour, with all the bigger pelagic fish and trawlers on it. To one of only 2 roundabouts in Shetland. Just as we come around the corner is the ferry terminals. This is how you arrive in Shetland if you come in by boat. And there is the Rossi, which is the north boat. Rossi means Orkney in Shetland speak. And the other one is called Yatland, which means Shetland in Norse. And the one with the red rounded roof is the ferry terminal. You're not really a Shetlander until you've experienced the boat in winter. So on the outskirts there's a few industrial areas, a bit like any other town really. And then we've got the competition on the corner, which is the co-op. Go about another few hundred metres into town.